My child, this is not just another video you casually stumbled across while scrolling through your day. Jesus has been trying to reach your heart, and something inside you already knows that this message is personal. You may have ignored his voice before. You may have drowned it out with distractions, exhaustion, fear, or endless noise. But do not click away from this moment too quickly, because what you are about to hear carries an urgency your soul cannot afford to overlook. Stay with me until the very end, because there are things Jesus needs to expose, heal, and awaken inside you before this day is over. Some of you have been carrying silent battles for years, and this message is about to touch places in your heart nobody else sees. Listen carefully now. This may be the moment that changes the direction of your life forever. I want you to slow down for a moment and really hear me, because this moment did not happen by accident. You may think you simply came across these words while going through another ordinary day, but I have been drawing your attention toward me for much longer than you realize. There were quiet moments when you felt something missing inside you, even when everything around you seemed normal. You tried to ignore it. You kept yourself busy. You told yourself you were just tired or overwhelmed. But deep down, your heart has been longing for something more than survival. I have seen how much pressure you carry without talking about it. You learned how to keep moving even when your spirit felt drained. You smile in front of people while silently carrying thoughts that exhaust you when you are finally alone. I know about the nights when your mind would not slow down. I know about the moments when you questioned where your life was going and whether anyone truly understood what you were feeling inside. I understood, my child. I always did. There were times when I tried to reach you through small moments you almost overlooked, through conversations that stayed in your thoughts longer than expected, through disappointment that forced you to pause, through the strange feeling that something in your life needed to change even when you could not explain why. That was not your imagination. I was trying to get your attention because I could see how emotionally exhausted you were becoming while pretending everything was fine. You have spent so much time trying to hold everything together by yourself. You kept telling yourself that eventually things would get easier, eventually you would rest, eventually you would feel peace again. But your soul was never meant to live disconnected from me while carrying burdens alone. That emptiness you keep feeling can't be filled by distraction, achievement, or the approval of other people. Your heart was created to know my presence personally. I am not speaking to you now to condemn you for drifting or struggling. I am speaking because I love you, and I do not want you to lose yourself beneath the weight you have been carrying. You do not need perfect words to come back to me. You do not need to hide your fear, confusion, or disappointment. I already know every part of you, including the parts you try hardest to keep hidden from everyone else. What you are feeling right now is not guilt. It is relief, beginning to reach your heart because somewhere deep inside, you are realizing you do not have to keep living this way anymore. I brought you to this moment because I want your heart to breathe again. I want you to remember what peace feels like. And I want you to understand that even during the seasons when you thought I was silent, I never stopped reaching for you. You have become very skilled at convincing people that you are doing fine. You know how to answer questions with a smile. You know how to continue showing up for responsibilities even when your heart feels heavy before the day even begins. Most people around you only see the version of you that keeps functioning, keeps helping, keeps moving. They do not see the exhaustion that settles over you when the noise fades and you are finally left alone with your thoughts. But I see it clearly, and I want you to stop pretending with me. There is a quiet emptiness you have been carrying for longer than you admit to yourself. It follows you into moments that should feel meaningful. You reach goals, complete tasks, talk with people, and still something inside you feels untouched. You keep waiting for peace to arrive through external things, but your soul keeps returning to the same tired place because the deeper hunger inside you was never meant to be fed by temporary distractions. I did not create your heart to survive on pressure, performance, and emotional isolation. Come closer to me now instead of running back into distraction every time your emotions become uncomfortable. Sit with me honestly. Let your guard down. Stop trying to appear stronger than you feel. I already know where your heart hurts. I know there are moments when you secretly wonder whether life will always feel this emotionally distant. I know you have questioned why you can be surrounded by people and still feel disconnected inside yourself. That feeling did not come because you are weak. It came because your soul has been neglected while you focused on carrying everyone else. You have spent so much energy trying to keep control of everything around you that you no longer know how to truly rest. Even your quiet moments are filled with overthinking. Even your prayers sometimes feel rushed because your mind never fully slows down. I want you to stop for a moment and recognize how tired you really are. Not physically alone, but emotionally and spiritually. You have been carrying worries you were never meant to hold without me. Listen carefully to me now. You do not need to earn rest from me. You do not need to prove your worth before I comfort your heart. I am asking you to come honestly, not perfectly. Bring me the disappointment you hide. Bring me the fear you avoid naming. Bring me the loneliness you keep burying beneath routines and responsibilities. Do not lock those places away from me any longer. I want you to let me teach your heart how to breathe again. I want you to experience peace that does not disappear the moment life becomes uncertain. Stop measuring your well-being by how productive you are or how well you hide your struggles. Your value has never depended on how much pain you can silently endure. Stay close to me now, my child. Do not rush away from this moment. The emptiness inside you is not proof that I abandoned you. It is the sign that your soul has been longing to come back home to my presence. I know there were moments when you felt frustrated watching certain doors close in front of you. You prayed for opportunities that never happened. You fought for relationships that still slipped away. You made plans that seemed certain, only to watch them fall apart at the last moment. Some of those disappointments stayed in your heart far longer than anyone realized. You tried to move on, but part of you quietly carried the belief that maybe you were overlooked, forgotten, were left behind while everyone else kept moving forward. But I need you to understand something that you could not fully see at the time. Many of the things you called rejection were actually my protection covering your life. I saw outcomes you could not see. I knew where certain paths would have led you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. There were people you wanted to keep close who would have slowly drained the life from your spirit. There were opportunities you begged me for that would have placed you in environments that damaged your peace and changed your heart in unhealthy ways. Because I love you, I could not allow every door to remain open. You often judge your life by what did not happen, but I want you to start paying attention to what you were spared from. Some heartbreak protected your future. Some delays preserved your peace. Some closed doors stopped you from building your life around things that would never truly satisfy your soul. Trust me in this, my child. I have never ignored your prayers. Even when my answer disappointed you, I was still caring for you in ways you did not yet understand. Stop looking backward with bitterness and start asking me to help you see your story differently. Release the belief that every loss means failure. Release the pressure to force doors open simply because you are afraid of waiting. Come sit with me instead of panicking every time life becomes uncertain. Let me guide your steps instead of rushing ahead out of fear that you are falling behind. I know waiting has been painful for you. I know uncertainty can make your heart restless. But do not confuse delay with abandonment. There are things I am still preparing inside you before certain blessings fully arrive. There is wisdom you needed, healing you needed, and strength you needed before stepping into what comes next. If I had allowed some things into your life too early, they would have crushed you instead of blessing you. So breathe for a moment and loosen your grip on the disappointment you still carry. You do not need to keep replaying old losses in your mind as proof that your future will fail. I am still guiding your life even when you cannot clearly see the direction yet. Trust my timing enough to stop forcing what I have already removed. Some doors closed because I was protecting the version of you that still has a future filled with peace, purpose, and healing ahead. There is pain inside you that very few people truly know about. You learned long ago how to keep certain emotions hidden because you did not want to become a burden to anyone. You became careful with your honesty. You answered questions with "I'm fine" even when your thoughts felt heavy enough to crush your peace. But I want you to understand something clearly right now. You have never cried alone. Not once. Every moment that felt invisible to the world was fully seen by me. I remember the nights when your mind refused to rest. You laid awake replaying conversations, worrying about the future, carrying regret, trying to silence fears that kept returning no matter how exhausted you felt. There were moments when you stared into darkness hoping something inside you would finally calm down. Sometimes you prayed with words. Other times you were too tired even to speak. Still, I heard you. I understood the ache underneath your silence even when you could not explain it yourself. Stop convincing yourself that your pain does not matter. Stop minimizing the emotional weight you have carried for so long. You were never meant to silently absorb heartbreak while pretending you are unaffected. Bring those hidden places to me now. Open your heart instead of burying everything beneath distraction and routine. I am not asking you to perform strength for me. I want honesty from you. Let yourself admit where you feel wounded. Let yourself acknowledge the disappointment you keep swallowing every day. There were tears you wiped away quickly because you did not want anyone asking questions. There were moments when you felt emotionally cornered and did not know who to trust with what was happening inside you. I stayed near you through all of it. I watched you keep functioning while your soul quietly grew weary. I watched you continue helping others while ignoring your own need for comfort. My child, I never overlooked any of it. Listen carefully to me now. Do not harden your heart simply because life has disappointed you before. Do not become so emotionally guarded that you stop allowing yourself to receive love, healing, and peace. I know you have been hurt. I know you became cautious because you grew tired of being let down. But I am not asking you to carry your grief forever as proof of what happened to you. Come sit with me honestly tonight. Put down the emotional armor for a moment. Stop replaying every painful memory as though your future must remain chained to it. Let me comfort the parts of you that still feel fragile underneath the surface. I am not distant from your suffering, my child. I have been near every second of it. And even now, while you are listening to my voice, I am trying to lead your heart out of isolation and back into the safety of my presence. My child, even now, as I remind you that I have seen every hidden tear and heard every silent prayer, I am also calling you to help carry this message to others who are suffering in silence tonight. There are wounded hearts searching for one sign that heaven still sees them, and through this mission, my voice is reaching into dark places like a lamp burning in the midnight hour. Whoever sows into this work becomes part of the harvest I am gathering, for the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I am stirring generous hearts right now because this is not merely a video to support. This is oil for weary souls, bread for the spiritually starving, and living water for those ready to give up. If this message has comforted your heart, do not ignore the prompting I place inside you. Through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal donation in the video description. You can help my word travel further and reach the one who is crying alone tonight. And as you pour out, I will pour back into your life, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing with peace, provision, and protection. Do not delay the assignment I am placing before you. Act now. Sow now, and help my voice answer another broken heart before the night ends. I know there were seasons when you believed I had become distant from you. You prayed and heard nothing. You waited for clarity and felt surrounded by silence instead. There were days when you searched for comfort but only found more questions. You started wondering whether I was still guiding your life at all. Some part of you became tired of hoping because you could not understand why answers seemed delayed while your heart was struggling to hold itself together. But listen to me carefully now. My silence was never abandonment. I did not step away from you during those difficult seasons. I stayed close even when you could not feel me clearly. There were things happening around your life that you could not fully see yet. I was protecting you from paths that looked promising but carried hidden destruction. I was strengthening parts of your character that comfort alone could never develop. I was teaching your heart how to trust me without depending only on visible signs. You often thought nothing was changing because you could not immediately see results. Yet while you felt stuck, I was still working beneath the surface. Quiet seasons are not empty seasons. Some of the deepest healing begins in places where growth cannot yet be seen. Think about how roots grow beneath the ground long before anything visible appears above it. Your life has been like that in many ways. What felt like delay was often preparation taking place where your eyes could not reach. Do not allow disappointment to rewrite your understanding of who I am. Just because life became difficult does not mean I stopped caring for you. Come closer instead of pulling away whenever confusion enters your heart. Invite me into the frustration you have been carrying. Speak honestly with me about your fears instead of quietly drifting further into emotional distance. I would rather hear your honest struggle than watch you suffer in silence while pretending your faith is unaffected. You survived moments you once believed would completely break you. Look back carefully and notice how many times strength arrived when you thought you had none left. Notice how many times doors opened unexpectedly after periods of uncertainty. Notice how many situations could have destroyed your peace completely, yet somehow you were carried through them. That was not luck, my child. That was my hand remaining over your life even while you questioned whether I was still near. So stop interpreting every silent season as rejection. Stop assuming that unanswered prayers mean you are forgotten. Stay with me through uncertainty instead of running the moment clarity disappears. Your story is not over simply because you are in a chapter you do not fully understand yet. I am still leading you, still protecting you, and still calling your heart closer to mine even now. My child, I need you to be honest with yourself about something you have tried not to notice for a long time. Your life has become so full of noise that you rarely allow your soul to sit still anymore. You wake up already carrying pressure. Your mind immediately moves toward responsibilities, notifications, worries, unfinished tasks, and endless thoughts about what could go wrong next. Even when your body rests, your heart stays restless. You keep filling every quiet space because silence has started to feel uncomfortable to you. I am not angry with you for this, but I do want you to recognize what has slowly happened inside you. Little by little, distraction became your shelter. You turned toward constant activity because it kept you from facing what was hurting underneath. You reached for entertainment when your heart felt empty. You buried yourself in work when emotions became too heavy. You searched for relief in places that could only numb you temporarily. And while all of that was happening, your connection with me became quieter and quieter until you barely noticed how distant your spirit felt. Come closer now and pay attention to what your heart truly needs instead of automatically reaching for another distraction. Put your phone down sometimes without needing noise to comfort you. Sit with me in the quiet instead of running from your own thoughts. Let yourself breathe again. You do not have to fear stillness. Some of the healing you have been asking for cannot happen while your life remains overcrowded with constant mental noise. You keep wondering why peace feels difficult to hold on to. But peace cannot grow where your attention is constantly scattered. Your soul was not created to survive on endless stimulation. It was created for closeness with me. That is why even after hours of distraction, you still feel emotionally drained afterward. Temporary escape can never replace genuine rest. And deep inside, you already know that. I want you to stop treating your spiritual life like something you will eventually return to once life becomes easier. Do not wait for the perfect season to reconnect with me. Invite me into your ordinary moments now. Speak to me while you drive, while you work, while you sit alone with your thoughts at night. Open your heart again instead of keeping me at the edge of your attention while everything else consumes your focus. Listen to me carefully, my child. The enemy does not always destroy people through obvious darkness. Sometimes he simply keeps them distracted long enough that they slowly lose touch with peace, purpose, and truth. Do not let that happen to you. Step away from the noise for a moment and let me remind your heart who you are beneath all the pressure and exhaustion. I am still here waiting for you, not with condemnation, but with the kind of peace your soul has been searching for in 100 other places. My child, you were never meant to carry all of this by yourself. Yet somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that you had to stay strong no matter how heavy life became. You kept holding everything together because you feared what would happen if you finally admitted how tired you really are. You became the person others lean on, the one who keeps functioning, the one who keeps pushing forward even when your own heart feels overwhelmed. But I need you to stop for a moment and acknowledge what this constant pressure has been doing to your spirit. You are exhausted in ways that sleep alone cannot fix. Your mind rarely rests completely because you carry worries into every part of your day. Even during quiet moments, your thoughts keep racing through responsibilities, regrets, fears, and situations you cannot control. You have tried to solve everything internally, hoping that if you think hard enough, plan carefully enough, or stay busy enough, you will finally feel secure again. But instead, your soul keeps growing heavier. Bring those burdens to me now instead of continuing to drag them through every day of your life. Stop treating emotional exhaustion like it is normal. Stop pretending you are handling things better than you truly are. I already see the weight you carry behind your smile. I know there are moments when you feel emotionally stretched thin and do not know how much longer you can keep operating this way. You do not need to hide that from me. I am inviting you into rest, but not the shallow kind that disappears after one peaceful moment. I want to give your heart deeper rest, the kind that remains even when life still contains uncertainty. Come sit with me honestly. Tell me what has been scaring you. Tell me what has been keeping you awake. Stop filtering your emotions before bringing them to me. You do not need polished prayers. You need honesty. There are burdens you picked up that were never yours to carry in the first place. You carry guilt for things outside your control. You carry responsibility for other people's choices. You carry pressure to meet expectations that are slowly draining the joy from your life. Release some of that now. Loosen your grip. Let me help you breathe again instead of constantly living in survival mode. My child, your worth is not measured by how much stress you can endure without breaking down. You do not need to prove your strength by silently suffering. Lean toward me instead of isolating yourself emotionally every time life becomes difficult. Let my presence steady your heart. Let my peace interrupt the storm inside your mind. You have carried enough for long enough. Rest here with me now, and allow your soul to remember what it feels like to be held instead of constantly holding everything alone. My child, I know there are still names that quietly echo through your heart. There are relationships you tried desperately to hold together because you believed losing them would leave an emptiness you could never recover from. You replay conversations in your mind. You wonder what you could have done differently. Part of you still carries the sting of rejection, even if you rarely admit it out loud. You gave loyalty, patience, effort, and love, yet some people still walked away from you. That pain cut deeply because you trusted them with parts of your heart that were already fragile. But I need you to stop blaming yourself for every ending. Not every person who leaves your life is a reflection of your failure. Some relationships ended because they could not continue into the future I am preparing for you. You were trying to preserve connections that were quietly draining your peace, weakening your confidence, and pulling you further from the person you were becoming. I saw things your emotions could not clearly recognize at the time. I saw patterns you excused. I saw compromises that were slowly exhausting your spirit. Come sit with me honestly and release the need to chase everyone who chooses distance from you. Stop begging for closeness from people who repeatedly make you feel emotionally unsafe. Stop carrying the burden of proving your worth to those who only valued you when you were useful to them. I never asked you to lose yourself in order to keep someone beside you. There were moments when you ignored your own pain because you feared loneliness more than unhealthy attachment. You stayed longer than your peace could handle because you hoped love alone would fix everything. But love without honesty, trust, and care slowly becomes heavy instead of healing. I watched you carry relationships that kept wounding your heart while you kept convincing yourself things would eventually change. My child, listen closely now. Some endings were painful acts of protection. Some people left because they were never meant to walk beside you forever. If I had allowed certain relationships to continue, they would have damaged your future in ways you cannot fully imagine yet. Do not confuse attachment with destiny. Do not mistake familiarity for peace. I know you still grieve certain losses. I know there are moments when memories suddenly return and leave your chest feeling heavy again. Bring those feelings to me instead of burying them beneath pride or distraction. Let yourself heal properly. Forgive where you need to forgive. Release where you need to release. Open your hands instead of clinging tightly to what I already removed from your life. You are not abandoned because certain people walk away. Your future did not collapse because some relationships ended. I am still guiding your life carefully, even through heartbreak. Trust me enough to believe that I can remove people from your story without removing purpose from your future. What I have ahead for you will not require you to constantly betray your own peace just to keep someone close. My child, just as I removed certain relationships to protect your future, I am also leading you toward assignments that carry eternal purpose, and this moment is one of them. There are people trapped in heartbreak, rejection, and loneliness who are waiting to hear the very words I used tonight to keep them from losing hope. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not merely giving money. You are planting seeds into wounded ground so healing can rise again like a river in the desert. I said in my word that some plant, others water, but I bring the increase, and I am inviting you to become part of that increase right now. Do not underestimate what one act of obedience can do when placed into my hands. I can multiply your generosity the same way I multiplied loaves in the wilderness and turned lack into abundance before the eyes of many. As you help carry my voice to more hearts, I will guide your steps, strengthen your peace, and protect what concerns you. Therefore, release your seed now. Support this mission boldly, and let your giving become part of someone else's rescue story tonight. My child, one of the deepest wounds you carry is the fear that your value depends on how others responded to you. Rejection made you question yourself. Betrayal made you wonder whether you were ever truly enough. Failure convinced parts of your heart that maybe you were falling behind while everyone else moved ahead. Over time, those experiences started shaping the way you see yourself. Even now, there are moments when you quietly measure your worth by what did not work out in your life. But I need you to hear me clearly today. Your worth has never been decided by another person's inability to love you properly. It has never been determined by closed doors, broken relationships, mistakes, or seasons where life felt messy and uncertain. You are looking at yourself through the lens of pain instead of through my eyes. That is why you keep speaking to yourself with so much harshness while extending grace to everyone else around you. Stop agreeing with every cruel thought that enters your mind. Stop replaying old failures as though they are permanent definitions of who you are. You have made mistakes, yes. You have trusted the wrong people at times. You have said things you regret and carried seasons of weakness you wish had never happened. But none of those things erased your value in my eyes. None of them changed the fact that I still love you deeply and completely. Come closer to me instead of hiding behind shame every time you fall short. Let me teach you how to see yourself with honesty and compassion instead of constant self-condemnation. You keep expecting perfection from yourself while forgetting that healing is a process. Growth takes time. Restoration takes time. Do not punish yourself for still being human while learning how to heal. I know rejection changed the way you approach people. I know betrayal made trust feel dangerous. I know failure left you afraid of trying again because you do not want to relive disappointment. But do not let those experiences become chains around your future. Open your heart carefully again. Take the next step again. Allow yourself to believe that your story is still unfolding instead of assuming your hardest moments already define the ending. Listen to me now, my child. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the opinions spoken over your life by wounded people. You are more than your worst season. Stop speaking about yourself as though you are permanently broken. Invite me into those wounded places and let me rebuild the confidence that pain slowly stole from you. Do not shrink yourself because others failed to recognize your value. Do not spend your life chasing validation from people who could never heal the insecurity inside you anyway. Rest your identity in my love instead of public approval. I did not create you to live trapped beneath shame and self-hatred. I created you to live free, secure, and deeply rooted in the truth that you are still worthy of love, healing, and a meaningful future. My child, I know there are moments when fear quietly tells you that too much damage has already been done. You think about past mistakes, wasted years, broken choices, missed opportunities, and seasons where you drifted far from peace. Sometimes you look at your life and wonder whether you ruined things beyond repair. You compare where you are with where you hoped you would be by now, and disappointment settles heavily over your heart. There are nights when regret speaks louder than hope, and you begin believing the lie that your future can never recover from your past. But I need you to stop listening to that voice. Come closer and hear mine instead. Your story is not over because you made mistakes. You have stumbled, yes. You have made decisions that brought pain into your life. You have ignored warning signs at times and carried consequences that felt overwhelming. But none of that placed you outside my ability to restore, heal, and redirect your path. I am not intimidated by your broken places. I am not standing far away from your life waiting for you to somehow fix yourself before I help you. You keep looking backward as though your worst chapter has authority over your entire future. Release that belief now. Let go of the idea that failure has the final word over your life. Some of the people you admire most were shaped through difficult seasons, painful lessons, and moments where they completely lost direction before finding healing again. Growth rarely looks clean while it is happening. Sit with me honestly and stop hiding behind shame. Bring me the memories that still haunt you. Bring me the decisions you wish you could undo. Stop carrying secret guilt like a stone tied around your soul. I already know what happened, my child, and I still want you close to me. That has never changed. There are blessings ahead of you that cannot grow while you remain chained to constant self-condemnation. Your future needs room to breathe. Your heart needs space to heal instead of endlessly punishing itself for old mistakes. I want you to begin walking forward again. Take the next step even if fear keeps whispering that you are too late. You are not too late for peace. You are not too late for purpose. You are not too late for love, healing, or renewal. Listen carefully now. The enemy wants your regret to become your identity because hopeless people stop believing transformation is possible. Do not surrender your future to hopelessness. Open your hands. Let me rebuild what feels shattered. Let me guide you beyond the places where you thought everything ended. You are still here for a reason, my child. Your heart is still beating because your story still matters. Stop standing at the graveyard of your past and calling it your destiny. There is more ahead of you than the pain behind you, but you must trust me enough to keep moving forward instead of remaining trapped inside old shame forever. My child, there are things waiting ahead for you that you cannot fully see yet. There is peace your heart has not experienced in a long time. There is healing that will reach places inside you that still feel bruised from old pain. There are moments of joy, clarity, and restoration that I have prepared carefully for your future. But I need you to understand something honestly today. You cannot keep running from my voice while expecting your soul to feel whole at the same time. You have spent so much energy avoiding certain conversations with yourself. Every time conviction rises in your heart, you distract yourself before it becomes too uncomfortable. Every time you sense me calling you closer, fear convinces you to stay busy instead. You keep postponing the deeper healing because part of you worries about what you will need to confront if you fully open your heart to me again. But avoiding truth does not protect your peace, my child. It only delays your healing. Come closer now. Stop resisting the very thing your soul have been longing for. You do not need to fear my voice. I am not calling you closer to shame you. I am calling you because I want to free you from the emotional prison you have slowly built around yourself. Some walls inside you were created by pain. Others were built from disappointment, fear, and exhaustion. But if you continue hiding behind them, you will also block the blessings I have been trying to place into your life. There are relationships, opportunities, and moments of restoration waiting for you beyond your obedience. But you cannot receive them properly while constantly running from inner healing. Stop silencing your conscience every time you feel convicted to change something in your life. Stop convincing yourself that numbness is peace. Stop treating temporary distractions like permanent solutions. I want you to trust me enough to let me lead you honestly. Open the places inside you that still feel resistant. Invite me into the habits, fears, and emotional wounds you avoid discussing. Do not rush away from discomfort every time growth begins pressing against your heart. Some breakthroughs only happen when you finally stop running long enough to listen. You keep asking me for direction while ignoring the quiet instructions I already placed in your spirit. Slow down and pay attention again. You already know certain things need to change. You already know there are habits draining your peace and relationships affecting your spirit in unhealthy ways. Listen to that conviction instead of fighting it. My child, I am not trying to take life away from you. I am trying to lead you into a fuller life than the one you are settling for right now. But you must come willingly. Step toward me instead of away from me. Let my voice become louder than fear, pride, and distraction. There are blessings waiting ahead that cannot fully arrive until your heart stops resisting the healing, honesty, and closeness I have been inviting you into all along. My child, one of the most dangerous things that can happen to your heart does not always arrive through obvious destruction. Sometimes it happens quietly. Little by little, you stop feeling things the way you once did. You stop expecting peace. You stop believing joy will last. You become so used to disappointment, pressure, and emotional exhaustion that numbness starts feeling normal to you. And without realizing it, your heart slowly drifts further away from the life I created you to live. I need you to notice what has been happening inside you. There are moments now when you distract yourself automatically because sitting alone with your thoughts feels too heavy. You scroll endlessly, stay busy constantly, and keep your mind occupied because silence forces you to confront emotions you have been avoiding. You tell yourself you are simply tired, but deeper than that, your spirit has become disconnected from rest, wonder, and closeness with me. Come back to me before your heart grows colder than you intended. Stop treating your emotional pain like something insignificant. Stop ignoring the quiet warning signs inside you. When you no longer feel moved by things that once mattered deeply to your soul, pay attention. When prayer feels distant, when hope feels weak, when your mind constantly seeks escape instead of peace, do not dismiss those moments. Your heart is asking for healing. You were not created to live emotionally shut down. I did not design your soul to survive by becoming numb to everything around you. There is a difference between strength and emotional disconnection. True strength allows honesty, vulnerability, and trust. Numbness simply hides pain beneath layers of exhaustion and distraction. And the longer you remain there, the harder it becomes to recognize your need for closeness with me. Sit with me honestly now. Let yourself feel what you have been suppressing. Talk to me about the disappointment you keep swallowing. Bring me the fears you avoid naming. Open your heart instead of keeping every wound hidden behind routines and responsibilities. You do not need to carry your emotions alone while pretending nothing affects you anymore. My child, your soul is not asking for more noise. It is asking for restoration. You have been feeding your mind endless information while your spirit quietly starves for peace. Slow down and let me reach those tired places inside you again. Do not wait until emotional numbness hardens into hopelessness. I am still calling your heart back to life. I am still capable of restoring tenderness where disappointment made you guarded. I can renew the parts of you that feel emotionally worn down and spiritually distant. But you must stop running from stillness long enough to let me in. Come closer now. Let your heart soften again. You do not have to remain trapped inside survival mode forever. I want you fully alive again, not simply existing beneath layers of exhaustion and emotional distance. My child, I told you that your soul is starving for restoration, and there are countless others silently slipping into numbness who desperately need the same awakening before their hearts grow cold. This is why I am calling my people not to remain passive, but to become carriers of my light in an hour where so many wander emotionally exhausted and spiritually empty. Every super thanks, every membership, and every PayPal donation, through the link in the description, becomes fuel for this fire to keep burning across the earth. I am breathing life into weary souls through these messages, and whoever helps sustain this work is helping pull hearts back from despair and isolation. Did I not say that those who water others will themselves be watered? As you pour into this mission, I will refresh the dry places in your own life, strengthen your spirit, and release fresh peace over your household. This is not coincidence. This is a divine invitation unfolding in real time before you. So do not scroll away from the stirring in your spirit. Obey my prompting now. Give boldly, and help my voice reach those still trapped in emotional darkness. My child, there was a time when your heart felt lighter than it does now. You could feel joy more naturally. You could rest without constantly carrying tension in your chest and mind. But life wounded you in ways that slowly changed how you moved through the world. Disappointment taught you caution. Heartbreak taught you emotional self-protection. Pressure taught you to stay alert all the time. Without realizing it, you stopped truly living and started surviving instead. You wake up focused on responsibilities before your day even begins. Your mind immediately moves toward problems to solve, people to help, tasks to complete, and worries to manage. Even during moments that should feel peaceful, part of your heart stays guarded because you are afraid something painful will happen again. You became so used to carrying stress that calm now feels unfamiliar to you. And that is not how I intended your life to feel. I want you to stop and notice how long it has been since you genuinely felt rested inside. Not distracted for a moment. Not temporarily entertained. Truly rested. You keep functioning, but functioning is not the same as living fully. Your soul was created for deeper peace than this constant state of emotional survival you have accepted as normal. Come sit with me now and loosen your grip on the pressure you carry every day. Stop believing you must constantly prepare for disaster in order to stay safe. Stop expecting disappointment before life even unfolds. Fear has quietly trained your mind to live defensively, and it has stolen simple joy from your heart little by little. I know why you became this way. You were hurt unexpectedly before. You trusted people who failed you. You walked through seasons where life changed suddenly and painfully. Those experiences shaped your reactions more than you realize. But my child, do not allow painful seasons to permanently teach your heart that peace is impossible. Do not build your entire future around survival habits created during your hardest moments. I am inviting you into a different way of living now. Breathe more slowly. Let yourself enjoy small moments again without immediately waiting for something bad to interrupt them. Open your heart to gratitude instead of constantly scanning for danger. Walk with me throughout your day instead of carrying every burden internally. You do not need to earn peace by solving every problem first. You do not need perfect circumstances before your soul can begin healing. Let me teach you how to live from trust instead of fear. Let me steady your heart so deeply that uncertainty no longer controls your inner world. You have survived many painful chapters already, my child. But survival is not the final destination I prepared for you. I want you to experience life with joy, clarity, connection, and peace again. Stop settling for emotional numbness when your soul was created for something far more alive than this. My child, there were moments in your life when you truly believed you could not keep going any longer. You reached emotional limits that nobody else fully understood. There were nights when exhaustion sat so heavily on your heart that even getting through one more day felt impossible. You smiled around people while privately wondering how much more pressure your spirit could carry before something inside you finally collapsed. Yet somehow, you kept moving forward even when your strength felt almost gone. I want you to stop and think about that honestly for a moment. There were situations that should have broken you completely. There were disappointments that hit your heart like waves in a storm, one after another, leaving you emotionally drained and confused. You lost things you thought would stay forever. You faced uncertainty that made your future feel blurry and frightening. At times, your own thoughts became difficult to escape. But you are still here, my child. You survived seasons that once looked impossible from where you stood. That strength did not come from you alone. I was holding you through every moment you thought you were carrying yourself. When your mind was racing late at night, I stayed near you. When fear told you to quit, I kept whispering courage into your spirit even when you did not recognize my voice. There were mornings you woke up exhausted and still somehow found enough strength to continue. That was not an accident. That was my presence sustaining you quietly behind the scenes. Come closer to me now and stop believing you survived only because you forced yourself to stay strong. You were being carried more than you realized. I protected your heart during moments when despair tried to pull you completely under. I steadied your mind when anxiety threatened to overwhelm you. Even when your faith felt weak and your prayers felt scattered, I did not pull away from you. You often focus so heavily on what still hurts that you forget how far you have already come. Look back carefully at your journey. Notice how many storms you already survived. Notice how many times peace arrived unexpectedly after seasons of chaos. Notice how many moments you thought would destroy your future completely, yet somehow life continued moving forward. My child, do not underestimate the resilience I placed inside you. You are not fragile in the way fear keeps telling you. Yes, your heart has been wounded. Yes, you have felt tired and discouraged. But you are still standing because my hand has remained over your life every step of the way. So stop speaking about yourself like someone abandoned and defeated. Lift your eyes again. Breathe deeply again. Let hope return slowly to your heart instead of constantly expecting disaster. I did not carry you this far just to leave you now. Stay close to me. Let my presence strengthen you again for the next chapter ahead. You do not have to fear the future when the same hands that carried you before are still holding you now. My child, there are battles happening around your life that you cannot always see clearly with your natural eyes. Not every struggle begins externally. Some of the deepest battles happen quietly inside your mind, inside your emotions, inside the private places where fear, discouragement, and insecurity slowly try to take root. The enemy understands that if he can keep your thoughts heavy enough for long enough, eventually your hope begins to weaken and your sense of worth becomes distorted. You have felt this battle more than you realize. There are days when discouragement settles over you for reasons you cannot fully explain. Small disappointments suddenly feel enormous. Negative thoughts replay themselves endlessly in your mind. You question your value. You compare your life to others and quietly feel behind. Sometimes you even begin believing that peace belongs to everyone else except you. Those thoughts did not appear randomly, my child. You are facing a real spiritual struggle over your confidence, your peace, and your identity. Do not surrender your mind so easily to every dark thought that passes through it. Stop agreeing with voices that constantly accuse, shame, and discourage you. Pay attention to the way you speak to yourself when nobody else is listening. The enemy loves isolation because isolated hearts often become vulnerable to hopelessness. That is why I am asking you now to come closer to me instead of retreating deeper into silence and emotional exhaustion. Bring your anxious thoughts into my presence instead of carrying them alone. Speak honestly with me when fear grows louder in your mind. Stop pretending everything is fine while internally fighting battles that leave your soul drained. You do not need to hide your mental and emotional struggles from me. I already know how intense some of those private battles have become. I also need you to guard what constantly enters your heart and mind. Not every voice deserves access to your spirit. Some influences slowly weaken your peace while pretending to comfort you. Some environments increase confusion and insecurity instead of strengthening your soul. Be careful what you feed your mind daily. What surrounds your thoughts eventually shapes the atmosphere inside your heart. My child, listen closely now. You are not weak because you struggle mentally or emotionally sometimes. You are human. But do not stay trapped there. Invite me into those battles instead of trying to manage them through fear and self-reliance alone. Let my truth become louder than your insecurity. Let my peace interrupt the chaos inside your thoughts. Stand up internally and stop accepting hopelessness as your identity. The battle over your mind is real, but so is my power to steady you, strengthen you, and restore clarity inside you again. Stay close to me when discouragement rises. Do not isolate yourself emotionally when your heart feels attacked. I am still fighting for you, my child, even in the invisible battles you rarely talk about out loud. My child, you have spent far too much time measuring your worth by standards that were never designed to define you. You look around at other people and quietly wonder whether you are falling behind. You compare your progress, your finances, your relationships, your achievements, and even your healing journey to what you see in others. Without realizing it, you have allowed the world's definition of success to slowly shape the way you see yourself. That pressure has exhausted your heart more than you admit. I see how hard you try. I see the way you carry disappointment when life does not unfold according to your timeline. You question yourself when certain dreams take longer than expected. You feel discouraged when your efforts are not immediately recognized. Sometimes you even wonder whether your life matters because it does not look as polished or successful as someone else's. But I want you to stop and listen carefully to me now. Your value has never depended on applause, status, income, appearance, or public approval. Come closer to me and let me change the way you see yourself. Stop allowing comparison to poison your peace. Stop scrolling through other people's lives and deciding that your own story lacks meaning because your path looks different. You do not know the hidden struggles behind what others display outwardly. Many people look successful while carrying emptiness deeper than words can explain. I never asked you to become someone else in order to be worthy of love. I created you intentionally, with purpose woven into your life long before anyone formed opinions about you. You are not behind in the way fear keeps whispering to you. Different journeys unfold at different times. Some growth happens quietly beneath the surface long before visible fruit appears. Do not despise the slower seasons of your life. Some of the deepest transformation happens there. My child, stop chasing validation from a world that constantly changes its standards. One moment people praise you. The next moment they criticize you. If your identity depends on human approval, your peace will always feel unstable. Anchor your heart in my truth instead. Let my voice become louder than comparison, insecurity, and social pressure. I want you to notice how much beauty still exists inside you beyond achievement. You carry compassion. You carry resilience. You carry wisdom gained through painful seasons. You survived storms that shaped your character in ways success alone never could. Those things matter deeply to me. Lift your eyes away from constant comparison and look at yourself through my love for a moment. I am not disappointed in you because your journey has been difficult. I am not measuring your worth by numbers, titles, or public recognition. Rest from that exhausting race now. Breathe deeply and let your soul remember that your life has meaning even in seasons where progress feels slow. You do not need to prove your importance by outperforming everyone around you. You are already deeply loved by me. Let that truth steady your heart again instead of allowing worldly pressure to constantly convince you that you are never enough. My child, the world measures worth by status and applause, but my kingdom measures impact by obedience, compassion, and willingness to build what carries life to others. Right now, there are souls crushed by comparison, shame, and hopelessness who need to hear this message before insecurity completely steals their peace. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping my truth break chains from hearts that have forgotten their value. Your giving becomes seed in fertile ground, and the harvest will echo far beyond what your eyes can presently see. For I have said that whoever gives generously will reap generously, and I am able to open doors, release favor, and sustain those who honor what I place before them. Do not believe the lie that your contribution is too small to matter, because in my hands even a little oil can fill many empty vessels. I am calling faithful builders in this hour who will help carry my voice into homes filled with fear, exhaustion, and despair. Therefore, respond to this holy moment now. Sow into this mission. Stand with this work, and let your obedience become light in someone else's darkness. My child, I know how often you hide what is truly happening inside you. You have become accustomed to smiling while carrying heaviness underneath the surface. You answer questions carefully. You avoid certain conversations. You tell people you are tired, stressed, or busy instead of admitting how deeply wounded or overwhelmed you sometimes feel. Part of you fears that if you fully open your heart, people may not understand your pain or may even pull away from you. So you keep carrying it quietly instead. But I need you to understand something honestly today. Healing cannot fully happen while you continue hiding your deepest wounds behind emotional masks. The pain you refuse to acknowledge will continue affecting your thoughts, relationships, peace, and sense of worth. You cannot heal what you constantly pretend does not exist. And my child, you have been pretending for too long. Come sit with me honestly now. Stop trying to appear emotionally unshaken all the time. I am not asking you to collapse into hopelessness, but I am asking you to stop denying your need for healing. There are disappointments you never properly processed. There are betrayals you buried quickly because life kept moving. There are fears you keep suppressing because you do not want to appear weak. But hidden pain does not disappear simply because you ignore it. I already see what is behind your smile. I know there are moments when your heart feels emotionally exhausted even while you continue functioning outwardly. I know there are tears you hold back because you became uncomfortable with vulnerability. I know there are wounds connected to rejection, loneliness, disappointment, and fear that still affect the way you see yourself and others. Bring those hidden places into my presence instead of locking them away in silence. Speak honestly with me. Tell me where your heart still hurts. Let yourself grieve what needs grieving instead of rushing yourself to move on before healing has truly happened. You are not weak because you need comfort. You are human. My child, some of your emotional exhaustion comes from carrying unspoken pain year after year. That weight was never meant to stay trapped inside you forever. Release it gradually instead of allowing it to silently shape your life from the shadows. Healing requires honesty. Freedom requires openness. Peace begins growing when truth finally reaches the wounded places inside your heart. Do not fear vulnerability with me. I will not shame you for being tired. I will not reject you because you feel emotionally fragile at times. Let your guard down in my presence. Stop performing strength constantly. Rest here honestly instead of exhausting yourself trying to convince everyone that nothing affects you deeply anymore. I want your healing to become real, not superficial. I want your heart whole again, not simply functioning. But you must stop hiding from your own pain long enough to let my love finally reach it. My child, I do not want a distant relationship with you built only on habit, routine, or obligation. I never created you just to repeat words without feeling, attend moments without connection, or carry the appearance of faith while your heart quietly feels far away from me. What I desire from you is something real. I want honesty from you. I want closeness. I want the kind of relationship where you stop hiding behind polished language and finally allow me into the deeper parts of your life. There have been moments when your spiritual life started feeling mechanical. You prayed because you thought you should, not because your heart felt connected. You listened to messages, read words, and carried religious routines while privately feeling emotionally disconnected inside. Part of you became discouraged because you wondered why the closeness you once felt seemed harder to reach. But my child, this was never about performing perfectly for me. I was always asking for your heart, not your performance. Come sit with me honestly now. Stop trying to sound spiritual while carrying silent exhaustion underneath. Speak to me the way a hurting child speaks to a loving father. Tell me where you feel confused. Tell me where your faith feels weak. Tell me what disappointments have made your heart guarded. I am not threatened by your honesty. In fact, honesty is where real closeness begins. You do not need to impress me with perfect words. I already know every hidden fear and every unspoken thought inside you. I know when your prayers feel distracted. I know when your heart feels uncertain. But I would rather have an honest conversation with you in weakness than watch you hide behind empty routine while slowly drifting emotionally distant from me. There are parts of your heart that have become tired of surface-level faith. Deep down, you are longing for something more personal and alive. You want peace that reaches beyond outward appearances. You want a connection with me that still feels real when life becomes painful and confusing. That desire inside you did not come from nowhere, my child. I placed it there because I want you close to me in a genuine way. Stop reducing our relationship to quick moments squeezed between distractions. Slow down and invite me into your daily life again. Speak with me while you walk, work, drive, and sit quietly at night. Let me become part of your ordinary moments instead of someone you only approach during emergencies. I am not waiting for you to become spiritually perfect before drawing near to you. I am already here, asking you to remove the mask and come honestly. Let your walls come down. Let your heart soften again. You do not need more empty routine. You need real closeness, real peace, and real connection with me. And my child, that is exactly what I am inviting you into right now. My child, you have been carrying pressure from too many directions for far too long. People expect things from you constantly. Some expect strength from you even when you feel emotionally tired. Some expect answers from you while you are still trying to understand your own heart. Some expect you to remain available, dependable, patient, productive, and emotionally steady no matter what is happening inside you. Little by little, those expectations became heavy chains around your peace. You have spent so much time trying not to disappoint people that you barely recognize how exhausted your soul has become. You overthink conversations. You worry about how others perceive you. You carry guilt when you cannot meet everyone's needs. Even when you rest physically, part of your mind remains tense because you feel responsible for too much at once. That pressure has slowly drained joy from places inside you that once felt lighter. Come closer to me now and stop measuring your worth by how successfully you satisfy every expectation around you. You were never created to carry the emotional weight of everyone else's approval. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how hard you try. Some will place unfair expectations on your life because they do not fully see the burdens you already carry privately. You cannot build peace while constantly trying to become everything for everyone. I want you to breathe for a moment and recognize something honestly. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to need rest. You are allowed to set boundaries that protect your peace and emotional health. Stop apologizing for needing space to heal, recover, and reconnect with your own heart again. There are moments when you say yes simply because you fear disappointing people. There are times when you remain emotionally available long after your spirit feels depleted because you are afraid of seeming selfish. But my child, constantly abandoning your own emotional well-being to keep others comfortable will slowly empty your soul. I never asked you to sacrifice your peace in order to earn love or acceptance. Bring that pressure to me now instead of carrying it silently every day. Let me untangle the unrealistic expectations wrapped around your heart. Stop defining your identity by how useful you are to others. Your value does not disappear when you cannot meet every demand placed upon you. I want you to learn the difference between love and emotional exhaustion. Real love does not require you to destroy yourself to keep everyone happy. Rest in my approval instead of constantly chasing validation from people whose expectations continue changing. You will never feel fully free while your identity depends on pleasing everyone around you. My child, listen carefully now. You do not need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders to prove your worth. Lay some of it down. Let your soul breathe again. I am asking you to come back to a slower, steadier place where your peace is no longer controlled by endless pressure and impossible expectations. My child, I know there are prayers you still remember clearly because the silence that followed them hurt deeply. You asked me for certain opportunities, certain relationships, certain outcomes, and when those things did not happen, part of your heart quietly concluded that I had ignored you. Some disappointments stayed with you for years because you truly believed those answers would have made your life better. You looked at closed doors and saw loss. You looked at delays and saw rejection. But I need you to listen carefully now because there is something you could not fully understand at the time. Some unanswered prayers were not punishment. They were protection wrapped inside disappointment. I saw consequences you could not see yet. I saw where certain paths would eventually lead your heart. There were situations that looked beautiful on the surface but carried hidden damage underneath. There were people you desperately wanted to keep close who would have slowly drained your peace and reshaped your spirit in unhealthy ways. Because I love you deeply, I could not say yes to everything you asked for. Come sit with me honestly and stop interpreting every unanswered prayer as evidence that I abandoned you. Some of my greatest acts of mercy in your life arrived disguised as closed doors. I know that truth is difficult to accept when your heart was emotionally attached to the outcome you wanted. You cried over things I quietly protected you from. You begged for certain situations to work while I was already shielding your future from pain you could not yet recognize. You often see only the immediate disappointment, but I see the entire road ahead. I know how easily your peace can become entangled in things that eventually wound your spirit. I know which opportunities would have consumed your heart with stress and emptiness. I know which relationships would have weakened your sense of worth over time. Trust me enough to believe that my no was not cruelty. There are moments now when you can already look backward and recognize this truth more clearly. Some things you once thought would destroy you when they ended are now the very things you quietly thanked me for removing. At the time, the loss felt unbearable. But with distance came clarity. What you once called heartbreak sometimes became rescue in ways you never expected. My child, stop fighting so hard to reopen doors I intentionally closed. Release the need to fully understand every delay before trusting my guidance. You do not always have to see the danger in order for my protection to still be real. Bring your disappointment to me honestly instead of allowing bitterness to quietly harden your heart. I am not withholding good things from you. I am carefully leading your life with wisdom beyond what you can currently see. Some prayers were answered differently because I was protecting the future version of you that still deserves peace, healing, and freedom. Rest in that truth now instead of constantly grieving what was never meant to stay. My child, just as some closed doors were acts of mercy, there are also divine opportunities I place before you that are meant to unlock blessing, purpose, and eternal impact, and this moment is one of them. I have allowed this message to reach your heart because there are others still praying for the comfort, clarity, and protection you receive it tonight. Through your super thanks, your membership, or your PayPal donation through the link in the description, you help carry my voice into places where fear, confusion, and heartbreak still rule the night. Do not see this as a casual request. See it as a seed placed into your hand by heaven itself. Every act of generosity becomes like oil poured into lamps that keep burning while the world grows darker. And I tell you truly, what is surrendered to me in faith never returns empty, for I am able to multiply, restore, and provide beyond what your mind can presently imagine. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life will begin through simple acts of obedience when you trust my leading instead of your fear. Therefore, stop hesitating, release your gift now, and help my word reach the very people I am still calling back to me before it is too late. My child, there are mistakes from your past that you still carry much more heavily than anyone around you realizes. You replay certain memories privately. You revisit conversations you wish had gone differently. You think about choices that hurt people, damaged opportunities, or led your life into painful seasons. Even when you smile outwardly, part of your heart still quietly whispers accusations against yourself. You have asked me for forgiveness before, yet you continue punishing yourself internally as though you are unworthy of moving forward. I need you to stop holding your past over your own head like a permanent sentence. Come closer to me now and release the shame you keep carrying in secret. You are not the same person you were in those broken moments. Pain, fear, immaturity, loneliness, and confusion influenced many of the choices you now regret so deeply. That does not excuse harmful decisions, but it does mean your entire identity should not remain chained to your worst season forever. You have spent enough nights torturing yourself mentally over things you cannot go back and change. You keep thinking that if you hold on to guilt long enough, somehow it proves you are taking your mistakes seriously. But my child, endless self-condemnation does not heal you. You only trap your heart inside cycles of shame that slowly steal your peace and hope. Bring those memories into my presence honestly instead of hiding them in darkness. Speak openly with me about the regret you still carry. Let yourself grieve what happened without deciding that your life must remain permanently defined by it. Growth requires honesty, but healing also requires mercy. And I want you to begin extending some of that mercy toward yourself. Listen carefully now. You are not honoring me by hating yourself endlessly for things I am trying to help you heal from. If I am willing to walk beside you still, why do you insist on treating yourself like someone beyond restoration? Stop calling yourself ruined because of painful chapters that I am still capable of redeeming. There are blessings ahead of you that shame keeps trying to block. Shame tells you to stay small, hidden, and emotionally trapped in old failure. But I want you free. I want you able to love again, trust again, hope again, and live without constantly dragging old guilt behind you like chains around your soul. My child, forgiveness is not pretending mistakes never mattered. Forgiveness is allowing healing to become greater than endless punishment. Release the need to keep reopening old wounds every time your mind grows quiet. Learn from your past, but do not build your identity there. Lift your eyes toward the future again. Breathe deeply and let yourself believe that transformation is still possible for you. I am not finished with your life because you stumbled. Come walk with me forward now instead of remaining trapped inside rooms of regret that I have already been asking you to leave behind. My child, fear has influenced more of your life than you fully realize. It did not always arrive loudly or dramatically. Sometimes it moved quietly through your thoughts, shaping your decisions little by little until caution became your normal way of living. You started avoiding risks that once excited you. You became hesitant to trust people fully. You stopped speaking honestly in certain situations because rejection felt too painful to face again. Over time, fear trained your heart to stay guarded instead of truly free. I know why this happened. You were hurt before. Certain experiences shook your confidence deeply. You trusted and got disappointed. You hoped and watched things fall apart. You stepped forward in faith at times and still ended up wounded. Those moments left impressions on your heart that followed you quietly into future decisions. Without noticing it clearly, you began organizing your life around self-protection instead of peace. Come closer to me now and stop letting fear quietly control your future. Pay attention to how often you expect disappointment before situations even unfold. Notice how quickly your mind imagines worst-case scenarios. Notice how many dreams, conversations, and opportunities you delay because fear keeps whispering that failure or pain will happen again. My child, that is not the life I want for you. You cannot experience deep peace while constantly preparing yourself emotionally for disaster. Fear keeps your body tense, your thoughts restless, and your heart exhausted. It convinces you that staying guarded will keep you safe, but many times it only keeps you emotionally trapped. I do not want your life reduced to careful survival. I want freedom for your soul. Bring those fears into my presence honestly instead of hiding them behind control and overthinking. Tell me what scares you about the future. Speak openly about the rejection you still fear, the loss you still carry, and the uncertainty that keeps your heart anxious. Stop pretending confidence when anxiety is quietly draining your spirit underneath the surface. Listen carefully now. Courage does not mean you never feel fear. Courage means you stop allowing fear to make every decision for you. I want you to begin trusting me more than the voice inside your mind that constantly predicts failure. Step forward again where fear convinced you to stay frozen. Open your heart carefully again instead of permanently shutting people out. Allow yourself to hope again without immediately expecting heartbreak. My child, fear has already stolen enough peace from your life. Do not hand it your future as well. Let me steady your thoughts. Let me calm your spirit. Stop gripping tightly to control as though everything depends entirely on you. I am still guiding your steps even when uncertainty surrounds you. Take a deep breath now and loosen fear's grip on your heart little by little. You do not need to walk into tomorrow terrified of what might happen. Walk with me instead. My presence is stronger than the fear that has been quietly shaping your life for too long. My child, you have spent so much energy trying to hold everything together because deep down you are afraid of what might happen if things fall apart again. You think constantly. You replay conversations. You plan ahead endlessly. You search for certainty in situations where certainty does not fully exist. Part of you believes that if you can predict every outcome, prepare for every possibility, and manage every detail carefully enough, then maybe your heart will finally feel safe. But instead of peace, you keep finding exhaustion. I want you to stop for a moment and recognize how heavy this constant need for control has become. Your mind rarely rests because you feel responsible for preventing future pain before it even happens. You carry pressure that was never meant to live on your shoulders. You keep trying to control people's reactions, life's timing, uncertain situations, and outcomes far beyond your ability to manage. My child, no wonder your spirit feels tired. Come sit with me now and loosen your grip a little. You do not need to carry the entire future in your mind every day. You were not created to live in constant emotional calculation. Peace cannot grow inside a heart that never stops bracing itself for what could go wrong next. Peace begins when trust slowly becomes stronger than fear. I know trusting again feels difficult for you. You trusted before and still experienced disappointment. You prayed before and still walked through painful seasons. That history made your heart cautious. But do not confuse caution with healing. Constant control is not true security. It only creates the illusion that you can protect yourself from every painful possibility. Bring your anxious thoughts to me instead of endlessly wrestling with them alone. Speak honestly about what feels uncertain. Tell me what outcomes you are terrified of losing control over. Stop carrying invisible pressure every hour of every day while pretending everything is manageable. My child, some things will remain uncertain no matter how much you overthink them. Certain answers will not arrive immediately. Certain situations will require patience instead of control. And that is where trust becomes necessary. Trust is not pretending life feels easy. Trust is choosing to believe that I am still guiding you even when clarity has not fully arrived yet. Release the need to force every door open immediately. Stop exhausting your mind trying to predict the future perfectly. Let your heart breathe again. You are carrying responsibilities that belong to me more than they belong to you. Hand some of them over instead of gripping them so tightly. I want your peace to become deeper than temporary circumstances. I want you able to rest internally even when life still contains uncertainty. But that peace will not come from controlling everything around you. It will come from learning that you do not have to carry tomorrow alone because I am already there waiting for you. My child, one of the heaviest burdens you have been carrying is the quiet belief that you must constantly prove your worth in order to deserve love, acceptance, and closeness with me. You push yourself hard because part of you fears that if you slow down, fail, or disappoint others, your value will somehow decrease. You have become so accustomed to measuring yourself by performance that even your relationship with me sometimes feels like another place where you must do enough to stay accepted. But listen to me carefully now. You do not earn my love by becoming flawless. You do not keep my attention by performing perfectly. I loved you before you learned how to appear strong. I loved you before you accomplished anything impressive. I loved you through every confused season, every emotional struggle, every mistake, and every moment when your faith felt weak and uncertain. My love for you has never been based on your ability to maintain perfection. Come closer to me and stop exhausting yourself trying to become worthy of something I already freely give. I know your heart. I know the pressure you place on yourself internally. You criticize yourself for small failures. You replay conversations where you think you should have done better. You carry guilt when you cannot meet every expectation around you. Even while others see competence and strength in you, your own thoughts often speak harshly against you in private. I do not want you trapped inside that cycle anymore. Rest for a moment. Breathe deeply and let your soul hear this clearly. You are already loved by me even in your unfinished places. You are already wanted by me while you are still healing, still learning, and still growing. Stop treating yourself like a project that must achieve perfection before becoming deserving of peace. You were never created to live under constant internal pressure. Some of your exhaustion comes from trying to maintain impossible standards that I never asked from you. Yes, I call you toward growth, honesty, and healing. But I do not stand over you with rejection every time you stumble. I walk beside you patiently because I understand your humanity completely. My child, let go of the belief that you must constantly impress me spiritually. Speak honestly with me instead of trying to sound perfect. Bring me your weakness without shame. Bring me your confusion without fear. I already know every hidden struggle inside you, and I am still inviting you closer. Stop running yourself into emotional exhaustion trying to earn approval that is already yours in my heart. You are not loved because you always succeed. You are loved because you belong to me. The truth does not change on your best days or your worst ones. Sit with me quietly now and allow this truth to soften the harshness you carry toward yourself. Let my love become the place where your striving finally slows down. You do not need to perform for me, my child. You only need to come close and let yourself be loved. My child, as you release the burden of trying to earn my love through endless striving, do not ignore the opportunity I now place before you to help carry this message to hearts still drowning in silent exhaustion. There are weary souls searching in the darkness right now, waiting for one word of truth to remind them that they are already loved by me. Every seed you sow through super thanks, membership, or PayPal donation becomes oil for this lamp I am using to reach the broken, the anxious, and the forgotten. Have I not told you, give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over? I am still multiplying what is placed into my hands with faith. This is not merely support for a channel, my child. This is part of the harvest of healing I am calling forth in this hour. If your heart feels stirred as you listen, that stirring is not accidental. It is my invitation for you to help keep this call reaching those who feel far from my love. So now, through super thanks, become a member or give through the PayPal link in the video description, and let your obedience become a river of restoration for many souls. My child, there is a kind of loneliness that cannot be solved simply by being surrounded by people. You have felt it before. You can sit in crowded rooms, carry conversations, complete responsibilities, and still feel disconnected deep inside yourself. That loneliness comes when your soul becomes distant not only from me, but also from your own heart. Little by little, you stopped listening to what was happening inside you because life became too loud, too busy, and too emotionally demanding. You learned how to function while ignoring your deeper needs. You became skilled at surviving daily routines while neglecting the quiet places inside you that needed care, rest, and honesty. Over time, your spirit grew tired. You stopped checking in with yourself emotionally because there was always another responsibility waiting, another pressure demanding attention, another distraction pulling your focus away from what your heart was truly feeling. Come closer to me now and stop running from your inner world. Sit quietly for a moment without immediately reaching for noise, entertainment, or endless distractions. Let yourself notice what your soul has been trying to say beneath all the busyness. There are emotions you have buried. There are desires you stopped acknowledging. There are wounds you pushed aside because life kept moving too quickly for you to slow down and process them honestly. My child, losing connection with your own heart creates deep exhaustion over time. You begin living mechanically instead of intentionally. You make decisions based only on pressure and survival instead of peace and wisdom. Even joy becomes harder to feel because your spirit remains emotionally disconnected beneath the surface. That is why certain moments feel strangely empty to you, even when outwardly everything appears fine. I want you to reconnect with the person I created you to be beneath all the pressure and noise. Stop abandoning your own soul while trying to keep up with the demands around you. Listen to your heart again. Pay attention to what drains your peace and what restores it. Bring your true emotions into my presence instead of numbing them with constant distraction. You do not need to fear what you will discover in quiet moments with me. I am not inviting you into condemnation. I am inviting you into restoration. Your spirit has been longing for deeper connection, honesty, and rest. That longing inside you is not weakness. It is a signal that your soul needs healing and closeness again. My child, come back to yourself by coming back to me. Let my presence steady the scattered places inside you. Stop treating your emotional and spiritual well-being like something secondary. Your soul matters deeply. Your inner peace matters deeply. And I do not want you continuing through life disconnected from the very heart I lovingly created within you. Slow down now. Breathe again. Listen again. I am still here waiting to restore the connection your spirit has been missing for far too long. My child, There are desires inside your heart that you have spent years trying to satisfy through temporary things. You searched for peace through achievement. You searched for comfort through relationships. You searched for relief through distraction, entertainment, success, attention, and moments of escape. For a little while, some of those things seemed to help. They gave temporary excitement or emotional relief. But eventually the emptiness returned, and you found yourself wondering why nothing ever fully satisfied the deeper ache inside you. I want you to understand something honestly today. Many of the desires you keep chasing are actually pointing toward your need for closeness with me. The longing for peace, safety, purpose, love, and rest inside you was never meant to be permanently fulfilled by temporary things. That is why your soul still feels restless even after reaching goals you once thought would finally make you feel complete. Come closer to me now and stop exhausting yourself chasing things that cannot carry the weight of your deepest emotional needs. Achievement cannot heal loneliness. Constant distraction cannot restore your spirit. Human approval cannot permanently secure your identity. There are places inside your heart that only my presence can truly reach. I know how hard you have tried to fill those empty spaces. I know you hoped certain relationships would finally make you feel fully seen and secure. I know you believed certain accomplishments would silence insecurity and fear. But my child, your soul was created for something deeper than temporary emotional relief. That longing inside you is not weakness. It is an invitation calling you back toward me. Sit quietly with me for a moment and pay attention to what your heart truly craves beneath all the noise. You are not simply hungry for success. You are hungry for peace. You are not simply desperate for recognition. You are longing to feel genuinely valued and loved. You are not merely tired physically. Your spirit is weary from searching everywhere except the place where true rest exists. Stop expecting temporary things to solve eternal hunger inside your soul. Even beautiful gifts in life become heavy when you expect them to replace the closeness only I can provide. Success becomes exhausting. Pleasure becomes empty when your heart asks created things to fulfill what only your Creator can satisfy deeply. My child, I am not trying to take joy away from your life. I want you to enjoy life more fully than you do now. But I also want you free from the endless cycle of chasing satisfaction in places that keep leaving your spirit empty afterward. Bring your desires honestly to me instead of burying them beneath shame or distraction. Let me teach your heart the difference between temporary relief and lasting peace. I want you to stop wandering emotionally from one thing to another, searching for fulfillment while your soul quietly longs for me the entire time. Come closer now. Let your restless heart finally find its way home, instead of endlessly searching for completion in things that were never meant to carry your soul. My child, there are changes you already know need to happen in your life. Deep down, your heart has recognized them for a long time. There are habits draining your peace, environments weakening your spirit, and patterns keeping you emotionally stuck. You have felt conviction quietly rising inside you again and again, yet you keep postponing action because change feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or emotionally difficult. You tell yourself you will deal with it later when life feels calmer, easier, or more convenient. But later continues moving further away while your soul grows more exhausted. I need you to stop delaying what you already know is necessary for your healing and peace. Come closer to me now and be honest about the areas where fear has been keeping you passive. Some things in your life cannot remain the same if you truly want freedom, growth, and deeper peace. You already sense this inside yourself. That uncomfortable stirring in your heart is not random guilt. It is my voice gently trying to guide you toward healthier ground. There are relationships you know are damaging your spirit. There are habits numbing your emotions instead of healing them. There are patterns of thinking that constantly pull your mind back toward discouragement and fear. You keep hoping peace will somehow arrive, while refusing to confront the very thing stealing it from you. My child, healing requires honesty and movement, not endless avoidance. Stop waiting until you feel ready to obey the truth already placed in your heart. Growth often begins before comfort arrives. Some doors only open after you finally release what no longer belongs in your life. You cannot hold tightly to unhealthy patterns while also expecting deep transformation to fully unfold. Sit with me honestly and ask yourself what you already know needs to change. Do not rush past that question. Let your heart answer truthfully. You already recognize certain areas where your spirit feels burdened, drained, and restless. Ignoring those signs will not make them disappear. Delayed obedience only prolongs unnecessary suffering. I know change scares you sometimes. Familiar pain can strangely feel safer than unfamiliar healing. But do not let fear keep you trapped inside cycles that continue hurting your peace and emotional well-being. I am not calling you toward change to punish you. I am leading you toward freedom. Take one honest step forward instead of waiting for perfect certainty. Have the difficult conversation. Create healthy boundaries. Release the habit that keeps damaging your spirit. Return to the quiet places where your connection with me can grow stronger again. Stop negotiating with the very things you already know are weakening your soul. My child, your future cannot fully bloom while you remain chained to patterns that belong to an older, wounded version of yourself. Let this be the moment where delay finally ends. Come with me now. Trust me enough to move forward instead of remaining emotionally stuck in places your heart already knows you have outgrown. My child, there are walls around your heart that you did not build all at once. They formed slowly through disappointment, betrayal, embarrassment, and pain. After being hurt enough times, you began telling yourself that relying only on yourself was safer. You stopped asking for help as easily. You stopped opening your heart fully. You convinced yourself that emotional distance was wisdom and that carrying everything alone was strength. But I want you to look deeper now, because some of what you call independence is actually fear wearing a different face. You learned how to protect yourself so carefully that vulnerability started feeling dangerous. You became cautious with trust. You kept certain emotions hidden because you did not want anyone to see how deeply life affected you. Part of you feared rejection so much that you began controlling how much access people could have to your heart. And while those walls may have protected you from some pain, they also blocked closeness, healing, and peace from reaching you fully. Come closer to me now and stop confusing emotional isolation with strength. True strength is not pretending you need nobody. True strength is having the courage to be honest about your need for connection, healing, and support. Pride often whispers that depending on anyone is weakness. Fear whispers that opening your heart will only lead to disappointment again. But my child, if you continue living behind walls forever, you will also remain trapped inside loneliness and emotional exhaustion. I know why you became guarded. I saw the moments that hurt you deeply. I saw the betrayal that made trust harder. I saw the rejection that caused you to question your worth. But I do not want those experiences to permanently shape the way you move through life. Stop assuming every person will hurt you. Stop assuming vulnerability always ends in pain. Do not let old wounds define your future relationships with people or with me. Bring those guarded places into my presence honestly. Tell me where fear still controls your reactions. Tell me where pride keeps you emotionally distant. Stop hiding behind self-protection every time your heart feels exposed. I am not asking you to become careless with trust. I am asking you to stop letting fear quietly imprison your soul. My child, you do not need to carry your struggles alone just to prove you are strong. Let me teach you how to lower your defenses without losing wisdom. Let me show you how peace grows when your heart no longer lives in constant emotional self-defense. You were created for connection, honesty, and closeness, not endless emotional isolation. Open your heart carefully again. Receive love again. Allow yourself to be supported again. Do not let fear disguise itself as wisdom for the rest of your life. Come out from behind those walls and let my presence reach the deeper places inside you that have been guarded for far too long. My child, as I call you out from behind the walls fear has built around your heart, I am also calling you into the courage of generosity, because closed hands often reveal the same fear as closed hearts. Some are waiting for this very message to break chains of loneliness, pride, and silent suffering that have imprisoned them for years. Every act of giving through super thanks, membership, or PayPal becomes a living seed planted into ground I am preparing for revival, healing, and restoration. Did I not say that those who water others will themselves be watered? When you release what I have placed in your hands, you make room for fresh peace, provision, and favor to flow back into your life like overflowing rivers in dry land. Do not dismiss this moment as small, because heaven sees obedience differently than the world does. This is a divine appointment, my child, and your generosity can become part of the light that reaches someone standing on the edge of hopelessness tonight. Support this mission now through Super Thanks. Become a member, or so through the PayPal link in the video description, and let my love continue reaching hearts that have hidden behind pain for far too long. My child, there are wounds inside you that began much earlier than most people realize. Some pain followed you from childhood into adulthood quietly, shaping the way you see yourself, relationships, love, and safety. There were moments when you needed comfort and did not fully receive it. There were words spoken over you that stayed in your mind far longer than anyone intended. There were experiences that taught you to suppress emotions, stay guarded, or constantly seek approval in order to feel valued. Even now, parts of those old wounds still influence your heart. You overthink rejection because younger parts of you still fear abandonment. You work hard to please others because you learned early that love sometimes felt connected to performance. You become emotionally cautious because disappointment taught you to expect hurt before safety. My child, those patterns did not appear randomly. They were shaped through experiences that left lasting impressions on your spirit. Come sit with me honestly and stop pretending those wounds no longer affect you. I know you became skilled at functioning despite them. I know you learned how to appear strong even while carrying insecurities underneath. But hidden pain does not disappear simply because time passes. Some parts of your heart still need tenderness, healing, and truth. I want you to stop blaming yourself for every emotional struggle you carry today. Some of your reactions were formed while trying to survive emotionally during seasons when you felt unseen, misunderstood, or unsupported. You adapted in the only ways you knew how at the time. But now I want to help you heal instead of merely surviving through old protective patterns. Bring those younger, wounded places to me without shame. Let yourself acknowledge where your heart still feels fragile. Stop criticizing yourself for needing reassurance, rest, or healing. You are not weak because childhood pain still echoes through certain parts of your life. You are human, my child, and those early experiences mattered more deeply than you sometimes admit. Listen carefully now. The hurt you experienced does not define your value. The lack of love, affirmation, or safety you may have received from others never changed how deeply precious you have always been to me. Do not continue carrying old lies about yourself into every new chapter of your life. I want to heal the places where fear first took root. I want to comfort the younger parts of you that still feel rejected, overlooked, or emotionally unsafe. But you must stop hiding those wounds behind constant independence, and self-protection. Let me into those memories instead of locking them away in silence. My child, your story did not end in those painful early moments. Healing is still possible. Peace is still possible. You are not trapped forever inside patterns created by old wounds. Come closer to me now, and allow my love to reach the parts of your heart that have been carrying pain quietly for far too many years. My child, I know there are areas of your life that feel painfully unfinished to you. There are dreams you once carried that now seem distant. There are relationships that broke apart, opportunities that disappeared, and years you feel slipped away while you were simply trying to survive emotionally. Sometimes you look at where you are now and quietly wonder whether too much time has already been lost. Regret whispers that rebuilding is no longer possible. Fear tells you it is too late to begin again. But I need you to stop listening to those voices. Come closer to me and hear this clearly. It is not too late for restoration. It is not too late for healing. It is not too late for your life to grow into something beautiful again. You keep measuring your future by what has already gone wrong, but I see beyond the broken pieces you are staring at right now. I see possibilities you cannot yet imagine because disappointment has clouded your vision for too long. I know there are moments when you feel behind compared to others. You think about the years spent struggling, grieving, overthinking, or recovering from pain. You wonder where your life would be if certain mistakes had never happened. But my child, do not spend the rest of your future mourning the parts of your story that did not unfold perfectly. Broken seasons do not cancel purpose. Delays do not erase meaning. Even painful chapters can still become part of something healing and redemptive. Stop calling your life ruined because some parts of it became difficult. Stop assuming that missed opportunities mean your best days are already behind you. You are still breathing. Your heart is still capable of healing. Your future is still unfolding. That means restoration remains possible. Sit with me honestly now and release the hopelessness you have been carrying about your future. Bring me the disappointment connected to the dreams that fell apart. Bring me the grief over time you believe was wasted. Let me help you see your story through a different lens. Some seasons were not wasted at all. Some painful years taught you wisdom, compassion, resilience, and dependence on me in ways comfort never could. My child, rebuilding does not happen all at once. Healing unfolds step by step. Do not become discouraged because everything is not instantly repaired overnight. Start where you are. Take the next faithful step forward. Open your heart again. Try again. Hope again. Let yourself believe that life still holds beauty ahead even after heartbreak and disappointment. I specialize in restoring what people think is beyond repair. I bring life into dry places. I strengthen hearts that feel exhausted. I rebuild identities damaged by shame, failure, and fear. So stop standing among the ruins of your past believing nothing good can grow there anymore. Come walk with me into the future instead of remaining trapped in old regret. Your story is not finished, my child. There is still healing, purpose, peace, and restoration waiting ahead for you. My child, there are moments when the noise around you fades, and you are finally left alone with your thoughts, and that is often when the emotional heaviness becomes hardest to ignore. During the day, you stay occupied. You focus on responsibilities, conversations, tasks, distractions, and routines. But when everything grows quiet, your mind starts revisiting fears, regrets, loneliness, uncertainty, and exhaustion that you work hard to suppress. Some nights feel heavier than others because silence leaves you face to face with emotions you have avoided carrying honestly. I see how tired your mind has become. I know how often you overthink things you cannot control. I know there are moments when your thoughts move in circles for hours, replaying conversations, imagining worst-case outcomes, questioning your future, and criticizing yourself harshly. Even when your body feels exhausted, your mind struggles to rest because your spirit has been carrying unresolved emotional weight for too long. Come sit with me in those quiet moments instead of facing them alone. Stop immediately reaching for distractions every time your thoughts become uncomfortable. I know silence sometimes scares you because it exposes how much pain, pressure, and uncertainty you have been carrying internally. But avoiding your inner world will not heal it. Your heart needs honest attention, not endless escape. You have spent so much time trying to remain emotionally functional that you rarely allow yourself to truly process what you feel. Some emotions were pushed aside because you believed you had no time to deal with them. Other wounds stayed buried because you feared becoming overwhelmed if you finally faced them honestly. But my child, hidden heaviness continues affecting your peace even when you pretend it is manageable. Bring those racing thoughts to me now instead of wrestling with them endlessly by yourself. Tell me what keeps your heart anxious at night. Speak openly about the fears you keep hiding beneath strength and busyness. Stop carrying every emotional burden internally while convincing yourself you must handle it alone. I want your quiet moments to stop feeling like emotional battlefields. I want your mind to experience rest again. But rest cannot grow where constant fear, overthinking, and unresolved pain continue dominating your thoughts. Let me interrupt those cycles gently. Let my presence steady the chaos inside your mind. My child, not every thought deserves your agreement. Not every fear deserves authority over your peace. Some of the heaviness you carry has become familiar simply because you have lived with it for so long. But familiar pain is still pain, and I do not want your heart remaining trapped there forever. Tonight, when silence comes again, do not fear it. Invite me into it instead. Sit quietly with me for a while. Breathe slowly. Release the pressure to solve everything immediately. Let your soul rest in my presence instead of endlessly drowning beneath the weight of your own thoughts. You do not have to carry the darkness alone anymore. My child, you have spent so much time waiting for dramatic signs that you almost missed the quieter ways I have already been speaking to you. You expected thunder when many times I came through whispers. You looked for massive moments while I was trying to reach your heart through ordinary days, small interruptions, gentle convictions, unexpected conversations, and quiet feelings you could not fully explain. I have been near you far more often than you realized. There were moments when you suddenly felt the need to slow down even though life kept pushing you to hurry. There were conversations that stayed in your heart long after they ended. There were moments when a certain message, memory, or thought reached you at exactly the right time. That was not coincidence, my child. I was drawing your attention toward me in ways subtle enough that your heart could respond freely instead of through fear. Come closer now and stop overlooking the ordinary places where my presence already surrounds your life. I do not only move through extraordinary miracles. I also move through quiet reminders, gentle peace, timely wisdom, and moments where your spirit suddenly senses that something deeper is happening inside you. But your mind has become so crowded with noise and distraction that you often rush past those moments before truly noticing them. Slow down and pay attention again. Notice how many times you were protected from situations that could have harmed you deeply. Notice how certain delays redirected your path at exactly the right time. Notice how strength arrived during moments when you thought you had nothing left emotionally. Those were not random events unfolding without purpose. My hand has remained over your life more consistently than you understand. You keep asking whether I am speaking while constantly expecting something dramatic enough to remove all doubt instantly. But relationship grows through attention, trust, and closeness, not only through overwhelming signs. I want your heart near me daily, not only during moments of crisis or spectacle. Sit quietly with me again. Learn how to recognize my voice in stillness instead of only in emotional intensity. Sometimes I speak through peace that interrupts your anxiety unexpectedly. Sometimes I speak through conviction, gently warning you before unhealthy decisions unfold. Sometimes I speak through exhaustion itself, allowing your soul to recognize it can no longer continue living disconnected from deeper truth. My child, stop dismissing every meaningful moment as coincidence. Stop rushing through life so quickly that you miss the quiet ways I keep reaching for you. I have been guiding you carefully even during seasons when you believed heaven had become silent. Open your heart more intentionally now. Invite me into your ordinary routines instead of waiting only for dramatic spiritual moments. I am already closer than you realize. I am already speaking more often than you think. And if you slow down long enough to listen carefully again, you will begin noticing my presence woven throughout your life in ways that were always there waiting for your attention. My child, just as I have been speaking through quiet moments and unseen ways, I am also moving through this message to reach people who are desperately searching for my voice in the middle of their confusion. Many will find hope here not through spectacle, but through the gentle whisper of my truth touching their hearts exactly when they need it most. Every gift sown through super thanks, membership, or PayPal becomes another flame lit in the darkness, another stream of living water flowing toward thirsty souls. Remember when I said that even a cup of water given in my name would not lose its reward? Heaven still watches every act of obedience and compassion with great attention. Do not underestimate what I can multiply through one willing heart that chooses to help spread my word. I am opening doors, aligning hearts, and drawing people back to me through messages like this, and I am inviting you to become part of that holy work. Give now through super thanks, become a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the video description, and help my voice continue reaching those who almost missed my call. My child, there is a reason your spirit has felt restless lately. There is a reason certain parts of your life no longer feel comfortable in the way they once did. Deep inside, you already sense that something needs to change. You feel it during quiet moments when your heart grows uneasy. You feel it when certain habits leave you emptier than before. You feel it when you continue repeating patterns that drain your peace instead of strengthening your soul. That inner stirring is not random discomfort. It is your heart recognizing that you cannot continue living the same way without consequences to your spirit. I need you to stop ignoring that feeling. Stop silencing conviction every time it rises inside you. Stop distracting yourself immediately whenever your heart begins confronting deeper truth. You already know there are things in your life that are exhausting you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Some relationships leave your soul heavy afterward. Some environments slowly weaken your peace. Some habits are numbing your spirit while pretending to comfort you temporarily. Come sit with me honestly and stop pretending everything is fine when your inner world clearly feels unsettled. I am not exposing these things to shame you. I am trying to protect you from remaining trapped inside cycles that slowly damage your peace and pull you further from the life I desire for you. My child, your restlessness is not your enemy. Sometimes discomfort is the first sign that your soul is waking up again. Comfort can become dangerous when it keeps you emotionally asleep inside unhealthy patterns. That is why certain things no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Your spirit is beginning to recognize that temporary distractions cannot replace real healing and peace. Do not wait until exhaustion completely overwhelms you before making necessary changes. Pay attention now while your heart is still sensitive enough to feel conviction clearly. Delayed obedience creates unnecessary suffering. The longer you ignore what your spirit already knows, the heavier your inner world will become. I know change feels difficult. Familiar patterns can feel safer than uncertain growth. But my child, staying emotionally stuck simply because it feels familiar will quietly steal your peace over time. I want more for your life than endless survival inside cycles that keep draining your soul. Bring your resistance honestly into my presence. Tell me what scares you about changing. Tell me what you are afraid to release. Speak openly instead of hiding behind excuses and delay. I already know the fears inside you, and I am still asking you to trust me enough to move forward. Listen carefully now. The growing discomfort inside you is not meant to destroy you. It is an invitation. Your soul is trying to lead you toward healing, honesty, and freedom before deeper emptiness settles over your life. Do not ignore that invitation any longer. Come closer to me and let this become the moment where change finally begins instead of another season lost to delay. My child, your life has become so full of movement that you rarely allow yourself to simply be still anymore. You move from responsibility to responsibility, conversation to conversation, task to task, trying to keep everything functioning while your inner world quietly grows more exhausted. You wake up already thinking about what must be done next. Even your moments of rest often become filled with distraction because true stillness now feels unfamiliar to you. I want you to notice something honestly. Constant busyness has not only tired your body, it has disconnected you from your own soul. You have spent so much time reacting to pressure that you rarely pause long enough to ask yourself how your spirit is actually doing. You keep moving because slowing down would force you to feel emotions you have been avoiding for a long time. But my child, avoiding your inner world does not heal it. It only pushes your exhaustion deeper beneath the surface. Come sit with me quietly for a moment instead of rushing immediately toward the next distraction. Put down the pressure to constantly produce, solve, respond, and perform. Breathe slowly. Let your thoughts settle. You do not need to earn rest by reaching a breaking point first. Your soul requires care even before exhaustion completely overwhelms you. You have mistaken busyness for progress at times. You believed that staying occupied would protect you from pain, loneliness, uncertainty, or disappointment. But endless activity cannot replace peace. In fact, some of your deepest emotional fatigue comes from living disconnected from your own heart while trying to maintain outward stability. You have become efficient at functioning while quietly neglecting your spirit. I know why you became this way. Life demanded much from you. Certain seasons forced you into survival mode. You carried responsibilities that felt relentless. But survival was never meant to become your permanent way of living. I do not want your life reduced to endless emotional maintenance while your soul slowly loses connection with joy, wonder, and peace. Listen carefully now. You cannot hear my voice clearly while your mind constantly races from one thing to another without pause. That is why I keep inviting you into stillness. Not to punish you with silence, but to reconnect you with the deeper parts of yourself that have been buried beneath pressure and noise. Take time to be with me intentionally again. Sit in quiet without immediately filling the space. Let yourself feel what your heart has been carrying. Pay attention to what drains your peace and what restores it. Stop abandoning your soul in order to keep up with every external demand around you. My child, your spirit matters more than your productivity. Your peace matters more than constant performance. I am calling you back to a slower and healthier rhythm where your inner life is no longer neglected beneath endless busyness. Come rest with me now and allow your soul to breathe again instead of constantly surviving beneath the weight of nonstop pressure. My child, there have been moments when everything around you appeared stable, yet something inside you still felt unsettled. From the outside, life may have looked acceptable. Responsibilities were being handled. Daily routines continued. People around you may have even assumed you were doing well. But inwardly, your spirit remained restless in ways you could not fully explain. You kept wondering why peace felt distant even during seasons when nothing obviously terrible was happening. I want you to understand that spiritual restlessness does not always come from external crisis. Sometimes it grows quietly when your soul begins drifting away from deeper connection with me. You can maintain routines, relationships, and responsibilities while your inner world slowly grows tired and disconnected. That is why temporary comfort has not fully satisfied you. Your spirit hath been longing for something deeper than outward stability. Come closer to me now and stop ignoring that inner ache. Stop convincing yourself that because life looks fine externally, your soul must also be healthy. You already know something has felt missing. There are moments when your heart longs for more meaning, more clarity, more peace, and more connection than your current life rhythm has been providing. That longing is not weakness. It is your spirit recognizing its need for closeness with me again. You have tried to quiet that restlessness through distraction at times. You filled your schedule, entertained your mind, and stayed busy hoping the feeling would eventually fade. But spiritual hunger cannot be permanently silenced through temporary comfort. The deeper your soul longs for me, the more restless everything else eventually feels without that connection. Sit honestly with me now instead of continuing to outrun your inner discomfort. Ask yourself what your spirit truly needs beneath all the surface-level routines. You already know certain habits have left you emotionally drained. You already sense that some parts of your life feel spiritually empty despite outward success or stability. You not ignore those signals any longer. My child, I did not create you simply to maintain appearances while your soul quietly starves for peace and truth. I created you for relationship, closeness, and genuine life within your spirit. That is why worldly success, comfort, or approval can never fully calm the deeper longing inside you when your connection with me grows distant. I am not exposing this restlessness to shame you. I am using it to draw you back toward what your soul truly needs. Restlessness can become mercy when it wakes your heart before emotional emptiness hardens permanently into numbness. So stop settling for surface-level peace while your spirit quietly cries out for more. Come back into deeper connection with me. Open your heart honestly again. Pray without pretending. Sit with me without rushing away. Let your soul receive what it has truly been missing instead of endlessly trying to satisfy spiritual hunger through temporary things. My child, the restlessness you feel is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is evidence that your spirit was created for more than survival, distraction, and outward stability alone. My child, there are moments when you still feel unworthy of closeness with me because of things you regret deeply. Shame has whispered to you for so long that sometimes you no longer recognize how harshly you speak to yourself internally. You remember your failures clearly. You remember seasons where you drifted, made unhealthy choices, ignored conviction, or carried attitudes that left your spirit feeling distant from peace. Even when you try moving forward, part of you quietly believes you are too damaged, too inconsistent, or too far gone to truly return fully into my presence again. But I need you to stop believing that lie. Come closer to me now instead of hiding behind guilt. Shame keeps trying to convince you that distance from me is safer than honesty with me. It tells you to stay hidden emotionally because exposure feels uncomfortable. But my child, I already know everything about you, including the parts you keep trying to conceal. And still, I am calling you toward me, not away from me. You do not need to clean yourself up perfectly before coming back into closeness with me. If healing depended entirely on your own strength, you would remain exhausted forever. I am not waiting for flawless behavior before offering grace. I am asking for honesty, surrender, and willingness to let me walk with you through restoration instead of continuing to carry shame alone. Stop replaying your failures as though they permanently define your identity. Stop speaking over your life as though one painful chapter erased all possibility for redemption. You have stumbled, yes. You have made choices that wounded your peace and complicated your path. But your mistakes are not stronger than my mercy. Your brokenness is not greater than my ability to restore what feels damaged inside you. Bring your shame into the light instead of feeding it through secrecy and self-hatred. Speak honestly with me about what still weighs heavily on your heart. Let yourself receive forgiveness instead of endlessly punishing yourself mentally for what cannot be undone. You are not honoring me by remaining trapped in self-condemnation forever. My child, guilt can lead you toward repentance and healing, but shame only keeps you emotionally chained to the past. I want freedom for your soul, not endless internal punishment. There is a difference between acknowledging your mistakes and building your entire identity around them. Do not confuse humility with self-hatred. Listen carefully now. You are not beyond restoration. You are not disqualified from peace, purpose, or closeness with me because of your past. I have never stopped reaching toward you even during the seasons when you fell furthest away. My love for you did not disappear because you struggled. So stop running from me out of fear that I will reject you. Come honestly instead. Lay your shame down. Release the belief that you must remain trapped by your worst moments forever. I am still here, my child, waiting with open arms to restore the peace your soul has been missing for far too long. My child, as I call you out of shame and back into my mercy, remember that there are countless others still hiding in guilt, believing they are too broken to return to me. This message is reaching wounded hearts like oil poured over deep scars, and your support helps carry that healing farther than you can see. Every seed given through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal becomes part of a greater harvest of redemption, where captives are reminded that my grace is still greater than their past. Have I not promised that I restore the years the locusts have eaten? I am still restoring lives, rebuilding faith, and lifting weary souls from despair through those who obey my prompting to give. Do not allow fear, hesitation, or distraction to silence the generosity I am awakening inside you right now. What you release into my kingdom I can multiply beyond your imagination, bringing favor, protection, and unexpected provision back upon your household. So now through Super Thanks, become a member or give through the PayPal link in the video description and help bring my lost children back into the arms of my mercy. My child, I know how badly you want certainty sometimes. You want clear answers about the future. You want situations resolved quickly. You want reassurance that nothing painful will happen again. Part of your exhaustion comes from trying to secure peace by controlling outcomes around you. But the kind of peace I want to give you is deeper than temporary circumstances behaving perfectly. Real peace is not built on having every answer in advance. You have already learned how fragile external peace can be. People disappoint you. Plans fall apart. Life moves in ways you cannot always predict or control. If your inner stability depends entirely on circumstances remaining comfortable, your heart will constantly feel anxious because the world around you is always shifting. That is why I want to anchor your peace somewhere deeper than temporary conditions. Come sit with me now and breathe for a moment without trying to solve everything immediately. You have spent so much time mentally preparing for worst-case scenarios that your spirit rarely experiences true rest anymore. Even during calm seasons, part of your mind stays alert, waiting for something to go wrong. My child, that is not the peace I created your heart to live within. The peace I offer you does not mean life suddenly becomes free from uncertainty. It means your soul no longer collapses every time uncertainty appears. I want to steady your heart so deeply that fear no longer controls your inner world whenever circumstances feel unclear. Bring your anxious thoughts to me instead of letting them endlessly spiral inside your mind. Speak honestly about what scares you regarding the future. Tell me what situations feel unstable. Stop pretending calm externally while panic quietly grows internally. I already know where your heart feels fragile right now. Listen carefully now. Peace grows through trust, not through total control. The more tightly you grip every possible outcome, the more exhausted your spirit becomes. But when you begin trusting that I remain with you even inside uncertainty, your soul slowly learns how to rest again. You do not need every detail of tomorrow in order to experience peace today. You only need to know that you are not walking into tomorrow alone. I am already present in the places you fear most. I already see the outcomes you cannot yet understand. And I am still capable of guiding, protecting, strengthening, and comforting you through every season ahead. My child, stop postponing peace until life becomes perfect. Stop believing your heart must remain anxious until every question is answered. Let my presence become your stability instead of external certainty. Sit with me more often. Slow your thoughts down. Release some of the pressure you carry internally. The peace I give is not fragile like worldly comfort. It remains steady even while storms still exist around you. And that kind of peace is what I want your soul to experience again. My child, I know there are moments when your mind keeps returning to the hardest chapters of your life as though those moments permanently define who you are. Pain has a way of leaving deep impressions in the heart. You remember the betrayal, the failure, the season when everything felt uncertain and emotionally heavy. Sometimes you look at your future through the lens of those old wounds, expecting disappointment before new chapters even begin. But I need you to hear me clearly today. Your future is not chained to your worst moments. You have walked through painful seasons, yes. Certain experiences wounded your confidence deeply. Some chapters left scars you still carry emotionally. But scars are not proof that healing never happened. They are proof that you survived something difficult and kept moving forward. Stop speaking about your life as though broken seasons have the authority to decide your entire future forever. Come closer to me now and release the hopelessness that keeps trying to settle over your thoughts. You keep replaying old pain so often that your heart has started expecting more of the same. Fear whispers that history will repeat itself endlessly. But my child, I am capable of leading your life into completely different seasons than the ones that once hurt you. You not build your identity around the chapter where you struggled most. You are more than the heartbreak that nearly crushed you. You are more than the mistakes you regret. You are more than the season when you felt emotionally lost and uncertain. Those moments were part of your story, but they were never meant to become the final definition of your life. I want you to stop approaching the future as though disaster is inevitable. Open your heart carefully to hope again. Let yourself believe that peace, healing, healthy relationships, and restored purpose are still possible for you. Pain taught you caution, but do not let it steal your ability to expect goodness from life again. Bring your fears about the future honestly into my presence. Tell me what still scares you. Tell me where disappointment made your heart defensive. Stop carrying the assumption that your best days already passed. I am still writing your story, my child, and I am not limited by the chapters that hurt you most. Listen carefully now. Some of the strongest people are not those who avoided pain completely, but those who allowed pain to deepen their compassion, wisdom, and dependence on me instead of hardening their hearts permanently. I can still bring beauty from places that once looked ruined. I can still create peace where chaos once existed. So stop standing in yesterday's pain while ignoring tomorrow's possibilities. Lift your eyes again. Breathe deeply again. Walk forward again. Your life still carries purpose beyond the chapters that wounded you. And if you stay close to me, you will discover that your future can hold healing and restoration far greater than the sorrow that once convinced you everything was over. My child, there are emotions inside you that you rarely speak honestly about, even with me. You have learned how to keep certain struggles buried beneath silence because vulnerability feels uncomfortable. Sometimes you pray carefully edited prayers while hiding the deeper frustration, disappointment, fear, or exhaustion underneath. You tell yourself you should already be stronger by now. You try to appear composed spiritually while your heart quietly carries questions and pain you do not know how to express openly. But I want you to stop hiding from me. Come closer now and speak honestly. I already know what is inside your heart before you say a single word. I see the confusion you try to suppress. I see the loneliness you rarely admit. I see the anger, disappointment, and emotional fatigue you keep pushing aside because part of you fears those feelings make you weak or unspiritual. But honesty with me is not weakness, my child. It is the beginning of healing. You do not need polished language when you come into my presence. I am not asking for performance. I am asking for truth. Tell me where life feels heavy. Tell me what situations have left your heart discouraged. Stop pretending peace exists where your soul is still hurting deeply. I would rather hear your honest struggle than watch you slowly drift into emotional distance while hiding behind silence. There are moments when you feel abandoned, even though you hesitate admitting it. There are prayers you still do not understand. There are wounds you carry that affected your trust more than you realize. Bring all of that to me honestly instead of carrying it alone internally. Do not fear my response to your honesty. I am not fragile. I am not intimidated by your emotions. Sit with me quietly and let your guard come down. Stop rushing through prayer while avoiding the deeper conversations your heart actually needs. Some of your emotional exhaustion comes from suppressing feelings you were never meant to carry in silence forever. Hidden pain grows heavier over time when it remains trapped in darkness. My child, I want relationship with the real you, not only the version you think sounds spiritually acceptable. Bring me your uncertainty. Bring me your grief. Bring me your fears about the future. Bring me the disappointment you still carry from old wounds and unanswered questions. Let those hidden places finally breathe in the light instead of remaining locked away. You do not need to fear rejection from me because you feel emotionally messy sometimes. I already know every part of you completely, and I am still inviting you closer. Stop running from deeper honesty. Stop hiding behind distractions and emotional walls. Come sit with me now exactly as you are. Speak freely. Cry if you need to. Be still if words feel difficult. Just stop carrying everything silently. I am here, my child, and I want your heart close to mine without masks, without performance, and without fear. My child, do not let this moment pass by like every other moment where your heart briefly felt stirred and then slowly returned to distraction again. I did not bring you here to frighten you or overwhelm you with guilt. I am speaking to you because I love you deeply, and I can see how tired your soul has become from carrying so much alone. This call toward me is not about punishment. It is about restoration. It is about bringing you back into the peace, clarity, healing, and purpose your heart has been missing for far too long. You have spent enough time wandering through emotional exhaustion pretending everything is manageable. You have spent enough nights carrying silent heaviness while trying to convince yourself that eventually things will improve on their own. But my child, your soul has been asking for more than temporary relief. Deep inside, you already know that distractions cannot heal what only my presence can restore. Come closer to me now without fear. Stop delaying this deeper surrender because you are afraid of change or unsure of what comes next. I am not asking you to walk this road alone. I am asking you to trust me enough to let me guide you gently out of the places that have been draining your spirit. Lay your burdens down here with me instead of continuing to carry them silently every day. I know there are still questions in your heart. I know there are wounds that have not fully healed yet. I know some parts of your future still feel uncertain to you. But do not let uncertainty stop you from returning fully to me. Peace does not begin when every answer arrives. Peace begins when your heart finally stops resisting the love that has been reaching toward it all along. Listen carefully now. You do not need to become perfect before taking this step closer to me. You do not need flawless faith or complete understanding. You only need willingness. Open your heart honestly. Speak with me honestly. Sit with me consistently instead of only searching for me when life becomes unbearable. Let this become the beginning of deeper closeness instead of another temporary emotional moment that fades away once distractions return. My child, there is still purpose ahead of you. There is still healing waiting for you. There is still joy your heart has not experienced yet. Do not allow fear, shame, distraction, or exhaustion to keep pulling you away from the life I am trying to lead you into. You were never created merely to survive emotionally while carrying endless heaviness in silence. So stop running now. Stop hiding. Stop convincing yourself that numbness is normal. Come back to me fully. Let my love steady your heart again. Let my peace reach the anxious places inside you. Let my presence restore the parts of you that life has worn down. Do not miss this moment, my child. I have been calling your heart because I want you close to me again, not distant, not exhausted, not lost beneath the weight of this world. Come home to my presence now and allow your soul to finally rest. My child, if this message has stirred your soul, then do not let this moment pass without responding to what I am placing before you now. I am gathering weary hearts, calling prodigals home, healing minds burdened by fear, and restoring souls that nearly gave up hope. And I am using messages like this to reach them before the darkness consumes their peace completely. Every act of generosity through super thanks, membership, or PayPal becomes fuel for this mission, like fresh oil poured into a lamp that must keep burning through the night. Did I not say that those who sow generously will also reap generously? Heaven sees every seed, every sacrifice, and every willing heart that chooses to help carry my voice farther into this hurting world. This is more than a donation, my child. This is participation in the work of restoration, healing, and eternal impact. I will bless the hands that give with faith, and I will make rivers flow again through places that once felt dry and empty. Do not delay this prompting. Support now through super thanks. Become a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the video description, and help my call continue reaching the hearts that cannot afford to miss this moment. My child, if you feel in your spirit that Jesus has been calling you back into deeper peace, healing, and closeness with Him, do not stay silent right now. This moment is too important to ignore. I want you to make a declaration of faith in the comment section and write, "Jesus, I will not miss your call." Let those words become more than a comment. Let them become the beginning of your return, your healing, and your surrender. And as you type those words, believe that heaven sees your heart, hears your cry, and is already drawing you closer into the peace your soul has been searching for. Amen.